right, good afternoon, everybody. Peter, hi, thanks. Brad and Joseph, Gary, Bob, and Fred, thank you very much, guys. All right, so today is a pretty exciting day, folks. This is um, really a long time coming, and I just want to start off, first of all, my name is Jeremy Tang. I'm from Shark Indicators. I'm one of the co-founders, and we're makers of a product called Bloodhound, which is a product that allows you to build, backtest, and create your own trading systems. And so a lot of the trading industry partners for NinjaTrader out there will use our software to create custom trading systems that in turn you guys can take, and then you can customize them and make them your own as trading system builders. So we've actually got here today Indicator Warehouse, just a stalwart in our industry. And I remember when I first started just learning about NinjaTrader. This is long before Shark Indicators even existed, and I was visiting the NinjaTrader ecosystem and the partners, and basically Indicator Warehouse was definitely one that stood out amongst the crowd as one of the most professional and sort of well-run and stable organizations in terms of NinjaTrader partners go, and certainly they've been around for a very long time, certainly longer than we have been around, and so it's definitely quite an honor to be hosting them today. And today I've got two people from Indicator Warehouse. I've got Adam Halpern, and I've got Eric Senft. And I'm sorry, Eric, if I mispronounced your last name. But basically, Adam is the owner and operator of Indicator Warehouse, and he's basically on a mission to create basically a go-to destination for trading software and education and support, and with the idea of helping day traders like yourself enhance your charting capabilities and making trading easier in general, and of course more profitable. Eric is a recognized futures trading expert and has been trading futures longer than certainly well, he's been trading futures since 1995, which is basically, for me at least, just when I was getting out of university. So he's been doing this for a very long time. He's also a registered commodities trading advisor and a designated Trader Kingdom expert. And so he's also a contributor of Wheatland Investor Report and MrSwing.com, PitNews.com, and Technical Analysis Magazine. And he runs the trade room at Indicator Warehouse. So without any further ado, I'm going to pass the torch over to Adam, who's going to take it away from here.
Okay, so thank you all very much, particularly Jeremy and the gang. He's right. We've been talking back and forth for, gosh, well, since 2012. So I'm assuming that everyone on this call is a NinjaTrader user, and so if you're not, I'll just apologize up front. But if you're a NinjaTrader user, then hopefully Indicator Warehouse is a household name. As Jeremy said, we've been around since 2009. I think back then there were maybe 10 other partners in the ecosystem, and now there's something like over 500. So we definitely rose to the top as one of the leaders, and I'm proud to say we've held that position. And I wouldn't say it's because we have any kind of magical whatever indicators. I think having quality software is just the price of admission to be in this business. But the longevity and the loyalty from our customers has come from the company itself. And so we started off as basically the Amazon.com for NinjaTrader add-ons. And this is way before all the copycats came along. And then around 2012, actually, we shifted our model based on customer feedback into more systems trading, and kind of took off from there. We made a name for ourselves with a system called the Diversified Trading System that later evolved into what is now called the Raptor Trading System. But we've always continued to maintain an inventory of individual custom indicators. And so on our site, there's three categories. There's what we call the basic indicators, which are interesting variations on standard stuff. There are premium indicators, which are really innovative indicators still designed to be part of some kind of subset or collection of indicators. And then there's a section called system add-ons, which now you will find Bloodhound added in that area. And the requirement we have for any product being in the system add-on section is that it not only has to enhance our systems that we sell, it also has to enhance any system, and or even be a standalone product. But that's critical. I'm really particular now about the inventory that we add. And so today may be a little different than what you're used to. I know that oftentimes a system vendor will come in here and show how they've automated or improved their system using Bloodhound. What we thought we would do this time is take a couple of our more premium indicators and show you how to use them with any trading system, whatever you're working on now or already have, to enhance what you already have. And so that's what we're going to cover today. I'm about to hand it off to Eric in a minute to just talk about the principles or the methodology that went into designing these indicators. And then from there, we're going to hand it off to Zach, who's done some amazing work in actually creating custom templates to use Bloodhound immediately with these indicators. And then at the end of the presentation, we created a page where there will be different bundles available to you. And depending on what you need, at the end of this presentation, everything from Bloodhound to everything we're talking about to even subsets, those will be available to you, for discussion at the end of the presentation. So Eric is an interesting guy. He's not only a close friend, he was my original mentor. And as we evolved as a company, it became clear that people didn't want just day trading tools. They wanted the Bob Vila of tools, if you will, to come with it. Someone to show them how to use them. And so I convinced Eric to come on board as our lead trainer, and then once we launched our room, our lead moderator. And just to give you an idea of how long Eric's been in the industry, if you look on the title slide there, you'll see the name of his website. So he was around early enough to grab that URL. And if you know anything about URLs and websites, getting supportandresistance.com is pretty much right up there with getting daytrader.com. So, but he was instrumental in helping us grow the company, and in particular of the trading systems that we provide today. And he runs the trade room that we have every morning, and is just a really gifted orator and teacher. So with that, I'm going to hand you off to Eric. I will be in the background answering questions, if you have any along the way, and then I'll come back at the end, and Jeremy and I can answer additional stuff. Thank you.
Thanks, Adam. Thanks, Jeremy. You guys are making me feel old, though, when Jeremy was giving me that very nice introduction. And yes, you pronounced my last name perfectly, Jeremy. I was just waiting for him to say, yeah, Eric's been trading longer than I've been alive. So, yes, I have been at this game for a while. My name is Eric Senft, and welcome. Hopefully this afternoon we'll be able to show you a couple of interesting things, a couple of takeaways from some interesting tools that we've developed. All right, so today's presentation, we're going to be talking about forecasting price action before it happens. And I like to think of the trader's challenge. Here's something that faces all of us as traders. These are kind of the big 3 or 4 questions that we're faced with all the time. Namely, how can we know when a big move is coming? How can we know when the market is ready to make an explosive move higher or lower? How can we know when maybe we should reach just a little bit further for a little bit more profit, or perhaps run a tighter stop loss? The other side of that coin is, how can we tell if market momentum is starting to wane and volatility is beginning to increase? How can we tell when the trend is starting to come to an end, and maybe we should be thinking about keeping that profit? Or maybe as volatility is increasing, maybe we need to consider running wider stop losses. And then, of course, the last question is, all right, if we know the market might be getting ready to make a big move, or if the market is starting to become more volatile, where is this going to happen? And when is it going to happen, so that we know how to take advantage of the situation? Well, to that end, Indicator Warehouse has actually developed a couple of tools that deal specifically with these issues. The first tool is called the Trade Forecaster. The second tool is the Ultimate Support and Resistance Suite. And those are the two tools that we're going to review here over the next few minutes this afternoon. Let's start with the Trade Forecaster. The Trade Forecaster is actually a very ingenious little tool. What it does is it forecasts what the current market condition is and what the next market condition is most likely to be. And it will do this for any market. So that means it doesn't matter if you're trading crude oil, if you're trading gold, if you're trading one of the stock indices, the British pound US dollar pair. If you can plot the chart, the Trade Forecaster will tell you what the current market environment is and what the next market environment is most likely to be. So you can plan for these bigger moves. So you can plan when the trend may be coming to an end and volatility is going to increase. How does Trade Forecaster do this? Well, it does it in a very similar fashion to the way a weatherman forecasts the weather. When a weatherman tries to predict what the weather will be, they take a look at the current temperature, they'll take a look at humidity, cloud formations, wind speeds, barometric pressure, and they'll look back in history and they'll say, okay, the last time we had these kinds of clouds, the last time the humidity was doing this and the barometric pressure was doing that, this is what the weather turned out to be. In a very similar fashion, the Trade Forecaster looks back into the history of the chart and it says, okay, the last time the market did this, that, and the other thing, the last time these market conditions were present, this is what happened. We had a trending market, or we had a scalping market, or we had a swing market. That's how the Trade Forecaster actually determines what the market condition is and what the next market condition is most likely to be. And it displays it in a bar graph in the upper left corner of your chart. So you get a clear display that whether the market is in trend mode, in swing mode, or in scalp mode, and for approximately how long. Here's a snapshot of today's E-mini trading, and you can see that when I took this image, the market was primarily still in swing mode, and the Trade Forecaster said, okay, we're going to be in swing mode for about another 30 minutes, another half an hour, 32 minutes to be precise. After that, we're going to be moving into more of a scalp mode. All right, that's all well and good. So you say, well, what does it mean when the Trade Forecaster says we're in trend mode or swing mode or scalp mode? Well, when the Trade Forecaster says that we are in a trending market environment, that means that we can probably expect greater follow through on our signals. So what does that mean for you as a trader? Well, that means that maybe we want to run a larger profit target. Maybe we want to run a tighter stop loss because we're not expecting a lot of volatility in the market. We're expecting fewer pullbacks. They're probably not going to be very deep. We can perhaps get by with a tighter stop loss, maybe increase our position size. Try to take a little extra out of the market because we're expecting the volatility to be less. What does it mean when Trade Forecaster says we are moving into a scalping environment? Well, that's kind of the the pendulum has swung to the other side of the spectrum, and now we find ourselves in more of a volatile market. We're going to see less follow through on the signals. We're going to see bigger and deeper and more frequent pullbacks. So what does that mean for you as a trader? Well, you're probably going to take a look at taking profit on target. You're going to go all in, all out. You're probably going to have to run a tighter profit target because we're going to see less follow through on the signals. We're probably going to run a wider stop loss because we're going to anticipate that the market is going to pull back maybe a little bit more frequently, maybe a little bit more violently than when the market is in trend mode. What does it mean when the trade forecaster says we are in swing mode? Well, it's kind of a blend of the two. We're going to anticipate a little bit more follow through on our signals, but the pullbacks may be a little bit more frequent and maybe a little bit deeper than when the market is in trend mode, but not as deep or as frequent as when the market is in scalp mode. So maybe while the market is in swing mode, we may look at taking partial profits on target. Maybe try to have a runner in there in case the market goes a little bit further. We'll perhaps mitigate our position size. We won't go in quite as heavy as we normally do because we're anticipating a little increased volatility. And like that chart that I just showed you, where we're currently in swing mode and in another 30 minutes we're going to be moving into scalp mode. Well, as the timer ticks down, and we get closer into scalp mode, we'll probably become a little bit more aggressive with our stop loss, get our stop loss in a little bit tighter. Try to protect a little bit more open profit, maybe even just punch out of the trade, take what profit we have. So the trade forecaster, a great little tool, handy little tool to tell you to answer those first two questions. How can we anticipate when a big move might be coming? How can we tell when the current move may be ending and when we might be getting more volatile in the market, when we might be seeing bigger market swings? So that leaves the third question open now. How do we know when? How do we know where? Well, for that, we're going to take a look at using the Ultimate Support and Resistance Suite. The Ultimate Support and Resistance Suite plots 21 high probability support and resistance zone for the current trading day. And it does this in a similar fashion to the way the trade forecaster works. The Ultimate Support and Resistance Suite actually looks back into the history of the chart. It doesn't just, they're not Fibonacci retracements and they're not floor pivots. They're true support and resistance areas. It looks back over the last 10 days of trading and it figures out where the market has shown particular sensitivities. And it will figure out from there where the support and resistance zones are most likely to occur. And like the trade forecaster, it will work on any chart. So that means if you're trading, again, crude oil or gold or a Forex market or the E-minis or the NASDAQ, it really doesn't matter. It will forecast intraday support and resistance zones for any market that you are interested in trading. All right, what does it look like? Well, here's an overview of the support and resistance line. I had to shrink up the chart a little bit just to show you the assortment. This still does not show you all the lines, but what it shows you is the gold line through the middle, that is the median line. The median line and the blue line above and the blue line below are perhaps the three most important lines on the chart. The median line tells you that there's 10 resistance lines above and 10 resistance lines below. The blue line above the median line is your primary resistance. The blue line below the median line is your primary support. These three lines tend to set the tone for the day. If the market trades below the median line and the primary support line, as it does in this chart, the market's going to tend to be more bearish on the day. If it trades above the median line and above the primary resistance line, the market's going to tend to be more bullish on the day. Why is that important? Well, generally speaking, if a market is more bullish, it's going to break resistance lines and it's going to treat them like support. If a market is more bearish, it's going to break support lines and then treat them more like resistance. And I'm going to deal with that in just a moment here. On this snapshot here, you can also see I've got the trade forecaster up here. And at this moment in time, it's saying that, you know, we're still in swing mode, but you can see the scalp mode is beginning to build some momentum, and you can see what's happening to the prices on the chart as well. We're starting to get a little bit more volatility. We're starting to get less follow through, right? The market's starting to drift a little bit sideways. Exactly what you would anticipate in a scalping market. The nice thing about the Ultimate Support and Resistance Suite is that it's very flexible. You can use it for plotting your entries. You can use it for helping you decide where your stop losses should be, where your exits should be. And of course, you can use it for helping you determine where your profit targets should be as well. Because these are zones of particular price sensitivity. These are zones where the market has exhibited some sort of reaction to price in the past. So when we see the market violate these zones or respect these zones, then we can trade them accordingly. So let's take a look here at how we might use the Ultimate Support and Resistance Suite for our entries. Now, every trader has their own way of using support and resistance. And I'm not going to tell you that these two methods are the only way. These are just two that I'm kind of fond of. But like I said, everybody has their own way of trading support and resistance zones. But generally speaking, the two most popular ways to trade a support and resistance level is to buy or sell when the market closes above or below a support or resistance zone. The other way, the way I actually prefer, is to allow for a break and a retest as a cue to take your trade. Let's take a look at a chart for an example. Again, this is today's E-mini S&P, and you can see that the market was very respectful of the support and resistance lines. I've highlighted an area where we saw the prices break and then come back and retest the primary support zone. They failed to get through the primary support zone. In fact, they hit it right on the number. They hit it right on the number 4 times before finally failing and falling off. You'll see that afterwards, after that sharp decline, the market recovered a little bit, broke the secondary resistance to the upside, and then came back down and retested it, and now it's showing it as support. This would be a buying opportunity for us, and we could look to buy on a retest or a bounce off of that support zone, given that prices have violated the support to the upside. They shouldn't have broken through there as strongly as they did. All right, so there's a very simple way you can, again, you can just trade entries on closes above or below the support or resistance zone, or you can actually let it break and retest, which sometimes makes for a more predictable entry. You can also use the Ultimate Support and Resistance Suite for managing your stop losses. The simplest way to do this is to roll your stops when prices trade through or bounce off of a support or resistance line. So similar in a way to your entry, we're going to see how price response when it hits that area of sensitivity, right? We're going to see what happens. If prices bounce and move in our direction, continue moving in our direction, okay, then we're going to roll our stops. And depending how aggressive you want to be, you can roll your stops quickly or you can manage them a little bit more loosely. Here's that same chart that we were just looking at. And there's our sell signal on the retest. And you can see that prices fell off. Well, when prices closed below the next support line, that is your cue to start rolling your stops. Now, how aggressively you want to roll your stops is up to you. Some people will choose to leave their stops one zone back. You know, if you're looking for a larger move, you may choose to leave your stops a little bit further back. If you're looking to be more aggressive, well, then you'll start to roll your stops as soon as the market starts to close or closes below that support level or resistance level, whatever the case may be. So you can see if you rolled your stop immediately above the highlighted bar, and then when the market broke the next support level below, down at 23.56 3/4, if you had rolled your stop down there, say to 23.57, you would have done very well. You would have got stopped out when the market tried to reverse on itself, and you pretty much maximized your profitability on that particular trade. I'm going to show you another clue, though, that you can use for gauging when it's time to roll your stops. And that's by using your ultimate support and resistance lines as profit targets. Remember I mentioned to you the median line and the primary resistance and support lines? Well, those are very important lines. As I mentioned, those kind of set the tone for the day. But what's very interesting is that when the market violates the primary resistance or support lines, it has a tendency to move at least two zones. So that gives you a heads up of where you can anticipate the market will go to next. In fact, two zones are a very good profit target to have. You can always use zone 1 as a scalp target, and you can use zone 2 as your longer term swing target or even trend target. But knowing that the market's going to move about two zones when it breaks gives you a really good clue as to where prices may be going next. Let's take a look at that chart again. Here again, the E-mini. And you can see we had the breakout and the retest followed by the sell signal. And look at where the market went. It went down two full zones before reversing. So had you known the market was going to go down two zones, you could have already had a profit-taking order at around 23.56 3/4, or probably realistically 23.57, and you could have banked your profit, or at least partial profits. Then when the bar actually closed below that support zone, you could have rolled your remaining position down to that stop, and you would have taken a full stop out on that big reversal bar. The market rallies from there, breaks through the 23.61 1/4 support zone, which should have acted as resistance. You can see the market did get knocked down briefly, but it also found support where? Yeah, you guessed it, right back down there around that 23.56 3/4 area. That gives us a buying opportunity. Where do we think the market's going to go from there? Well, our first target would be 23.61 1/4. And you can see the market had no trouble getting up there. Our next target would be the primary support, back to 23.65 1/2. So this is how you can use the support and resistance suite also as profit-taking targets. And this isn't unique to just the E-mini, and we can go through some other charts, but here's the snapshot of the DAX for those of you who like to trade the DAX. Notice that we have the same principle here. We have the breakout and the retest followed by the failure. Notice too that in the DAX, the market did not hit the numbers right on the line. They actually came up a little bit, fudged the line a little bit. You need to remember that the support and resistance suite is forecasting what the market will do, right? It's not, it's a predictive tool. So if it misses the mark by a couple of ticks, then you shouldn't negate what it's telling you. So it's still telling you that this is an area of sensitivity. The market broke to the downside, and now it's reacting, and it's giving you a sell signal. And you can see that where prices went from here, it went down 2 full zones. In fact, it actually went down 3 zones. So you can have your profit-taking order at 2 zones down, and then you can have that followed up with another profit-taking order or a trailing stop at 3 zones down. So this is a great tool for identifying where the market is most likely to react. Let's take a look at another chart. This now the euro for today. And you can see the highlighted bar, again, a breakout and a retest, but it all happened on one bar. This happens to be a 15-minute chart that we're looking at. If we looked at it on a 5-minute chart, it would give you a little bit more detail. You would see that breakout and retest more clearly, but I wanted to condense it here so that I could show you that, in fact, the market did end up falling 2 full zones. Notice, too, how the support and resistance suite, if you had used it to manage your stops, your initial stop may have been above the median line, above that gold line. And then when it failed to break the pink line before, or just below, that was not a cue to roll your stops just yet. But you had to actually hang into this trade for about 4 or 5 hours before the market finally broke the support level and allowed you to roll your stops down. But look at where it went once it broke the support level. It went 2 full zones down. So it's a very helpful tool for helping you forecast where the market is going next, a very helpful tool for telling you when it's time to get into a trade. When you couple that with your trade forecaster, it's just an invaluable tool. You know, right now here, this chart on the euro, we're in full-on trend mode for almost an hour, after which we're going to move into swing mode. So this is the type of trade where I might be looking at maybe running a wider profit target. Maybe instead of 2 zones, maybe instead of going all in, all out on 2 zones, I'll take partial profit on 2 zones and try to run out to the 3rd support zone as a profit objective. If this were in full-on scalp mode, well, then I would do the opposite. If we were coming up on scalp mode in a few minutes' time, I would probably look at banking as much profit as I could possibly get. So that's the trade forecaster and the ultimate support and resistance suite in a nutshell. I'm going to hand the controls back over to you guys. If there's any questions or any markets in particular that you would like to see, please let me know, and I'd be happy to try to pull them up for you.
All right, guys, you should see my screen, hopefully. That'd be great if I could just get a couple of you to kind of confirm. As you guys can see my desktop here, you should see 2 charts up of the YM. All right, great. Thank you very much, guys. All right, so this portion of the webinar, I'm going to demonstrate the ultimate support and resistance and the trade forecaster being used in Bloodhound. And also, when you guys make a purchase today, we're going to include these Bloodhound templates with your purchase as a free gift. So if you already own everything, if you already own Bloodhound and you own the indicator warehouse indicators, don't worry, we've got something set aside for you as well if you already own everything. So when you make a purchase today, you're going to get a separate installer here that will install all of the Bloodhound templates and the chart template, and it's also going to install a folder on your desktop here. Right? It's going to say Indicator Warehouse Templates, and if you open it up, it just has two handy PDFs here with a brief description of the Bloodhound templates that are included with this installer here. Right? So I'm going to show you those Bloodhound templates right now. Right? Okay, so when you get everything installed, what you can do is you can just pull up a chart, and we're going to load a chart template. Right? So we've included chart templates, and I'm going to pull up the trade forecaster on my left chart. So the trade forecaster requires 25 days of data. So make sure that you have enough data on your chart. All right, there we go. Got it all loaded up there. And on the other chart, I'm going to load up the Ultimate Support Resistance template here. So again, I'm going to go to a NinjaTrader chart template, load that up. So this is what you get in that little installer file I showed you there. So you get these chart templates and Bloodhound templates when you make a purchase here today. All right, there we go. So I got both my charts ready. So let me cover the trade forecaster first here. So as Eric explained, the trade forecaster, is forecasting what type of market you're currently in or to be in here. So I've set up a Bloodhound template to look at that indicator, right? Now both of these indicators we're showing you today, the trade forecaster and the ultimate support resistance, they're great complements to any existing Bloodhound system that you might have going on. All right, so if you've already got your favorite signals programmed into Bloodhound and you'd like to add another kind of filter, the trade forecaster is great for that, because if your system is a scalping, then using the trade forecaster as a part of your system, you can isolate your Bloodhound signals only to when the trade forecaster tells you that you're in a scalping market mode there. So let me just kind of cover the Bloodhound templates here that I've got here for you. Now I just have some simple templates here. So one of them, it's going to mark when the trade forecaster is suggesting a trend mode, right? So we can see the blue dots there, which is suggesting that the market could be in a trend mode there. And the next one would be identifying the swing mode, such as that. So the red dots are identifying the swing mode. And the next one would be the scalp. So when the market's in a scalping state, we have those identified as well. So, right, so we got three, just some basic logic templates here, just to kind of show you each of these solvers. So if you have a Bloodhound system that you're trading with, or that you're using, or trying to enhance, you have these solvers already built in this Bloodhound template, and you can just copy this solver into your system and hook it right in. It's ready to go. So, and just for some fun for anybody that's doing some just discretionary trading, I've got a couple of templates here to help you out with discretionary trading. So one of them is a really simple one. It's kind of two ways of displaying the same information here. So if I stretch this out, right, you can see Bloodhound down here. It's got an output here, and you can see that the bars are getting larger or smaller depending on what the trade forecaster is telling you. So if the trade forecaster is in a trending state, as we can see here, let me grab an arrow. Yeah.
So you can see here, the forecaster is in a trending mode. We can see Bloodhound has an output of 1, the largest output here. Trending mode is typically indicative of longer trades, right? Larger profit targets. So therefore, Bloodhound is giving you a larger output. Then when we go down to the swing mode, Bloodhound's output diminishes a little bit, because those are usually shorter term trades. And then if you're in scalping mode, then Bloodhound just has a little minor output, right? Very simple way of looking at it. If you want something a little more colorful, then we have this logic template here that has some color coding here, right? So let me grab another arrow. So when the forecaster is in a trend mode, right, the default color is blue, and then Bloodhound will output a blue there on the screen for you. When the trend forecaster is in swing mode, which is the default color is red, there Bloodhound will output a reddish color. And then in scalping, there will be no coloring of the chart there. And so there's just kind of some simple examples of using the forecaster inside of Bloodhound. So again, this indicator is going to be great for a great filter and enhancement to any Bloodhound system that you already have going here. So, all right. So let me switch over to the ultimate support and resistance chart, and let's grab an arrow here. So you can see there is a couple of support resistance lines there on my chart, and so I'll just run through all the logic templates that I built into Bloodhound and all the kind of different scenarios that I kind of put together. So again, keep in mind that the support and resistance indicator is it's another great complementary indicator, for an existing system that you have, right? And so that's kind of what I'm going to show you here. So a bunch of these Bloodhound logic templates are, may make sense for a discretionary trader, may be handy for a discretionary trader, but they're more just, for examples of things that you can, examples of how you can use the ultimate support and resistance within Bloodhound, and therefore use it within, your own system that you might have going there. So, this first template here, it's going to show you when price is at a support and resistance line. So let me kind of zoom in here to one of these. I'll grab one of my arrows. Right, so if we look over here, stretch this out a little bit, right? So you can see when price is right up against the support line here, which is -1, right? As soon as when price is right up against it, right? In this mode within Bloodhound, it's telling you that there could be that you're right up against the support resistance, but you're below it, right? Because you can see you're getting the red output, and that means that you're right below the support resistance line there, and you're really, really close. So this has been set up to tell you when you're really, really close to a support resistance line. And then over here, when price goes above it or breaks above it, it's going to give you a green output, telling you that price is sitting literally right on top of a support and resistance line. Let's see here. Let's go over here. So the next support resistance line down here, right? So price just broke below it. It's giving a red output, so price is literally right below it. And then we have a few bars afterwards here where price is literally sitting right on top of it, right? So just a simple use of comparing price to a support resistance within Bloodhound, right? And you can use these logic templates, in your own trading system to enhance it. All right, so another one here. This one is kind of a trade permissive type of an output from Bloodhound. So this one's a little more complicated. So when price is really close to a support line here, you can see price is practically sitting right on top of it, then Bloodhound's gonna, I'd say, you should probably only look to go long here, right? Or really what this is telling you is that there's enough distance between price and your resistance line above, right? You can see all the distance that there is. So there's enough distance to take a long position going into the next resistance line above, right? And then when price is like halfway in the middle of your resistance line and support line, if we look at Bloodhound, it's giving us a green and a red output at the same time. So that's telling you that there's enough distance. And the way I have this set up, and let me just kind of double check here. The way I have this set up is Bloodhound's looking for at least a 2 ATR clearance for where price is to the next support resistance line. So 2 ATR clearance. So let me close that out. So what that means is that where price is, there's a 2 ATR clearance going down into support or going long into resistance, right? So when price is in the middle there, right, getting a long output and a short output tells you that there's a 2 ATR clearance to either take a short trade or a long trade from there. And then when price gets closer and closer to our resistance, we can see that Bloodhound only has a red output. So Bloodhound is, suggesting that you probably only want to take a short trade, or more directly, Bloodhound is saying, well, you only have a 2 ATR clearance to take a short trade down to the next support line, right? So if you took a long trade, you're too close to resistance to take a long trade, so there's no long output there on those bars, right? There's only a short output, identifying that you're clear to go short, but you probably don't want to go long. So that's the trade permissive there, right? So it's kind of giving you a permissive. So when you see green only, Bloodhound is suggesting that, well, you probably only want to take a long trade. If you see red only, Bloodhound is suggesting that you probably only want to take a short only. And if it's this brown color, then Bloodhound is saying, well, there's enough clearance you can go long or short there before you hit the next support resistance line. All right, let's go to the next one. It's another trade permissive, just a different visual, a little cleaner looking. So you can see you're still getting the green long output from Bloodhound, telling you that you probably want to take, a long, or more importantly, it's telling you that you've got enough distance to go long before you hit the next resistance line above. And then when price gets up to our resistance line above here, Bloodhound's giving us a short output. And that's suggesting that, you're too close to resistance, so you don't want to take a long, but there's plenty of distance to take a short down into the support line, right? And then in the black areas, you can see there's no output. So now the black areas means there's enough distance to go long into the next resistance or short into the next support line, right? So instead of getting a long and a short at the same time like the previous logic template had, it's just there is just no output. So they're really telling you the same thing, but you can customize it for whatever look, coloring style that you kind of like there. All right, so the next two are kind of some really neat ones here that I came up with some examples here to use with this support resistance indicator. So this one is a support resistance bounce example here. So Bloodhound will let you know when conditions look good that you could get a potential bounce trade off of one of these support resistance lines. All right, so if we take a look here, price comes up and it suddenly stopped. Let me grab an arrow again. Price came up, it suddenly stopped, and then it reversed on us, and it looked like that would be a good potential setup for a bounce off of that resistance line. So a couple of them there. And let's see, let's go forward here and see if I can find, let's see, we didn't have any kind of ideal setup for a bounce long there. And I'll see if I can find a long bounce. So, right, there's a couple of good shorts. Seems like the market's really hinting the last couple of days at shorts. And let's see. There we go. All right. So we can see market came down, stopped right on that support line, and it's pretty uncanny how good this support resistance indicator is there. And then price reversed on us, and that, you know, that's an ideal situation for a bounce trade, a bounce situation there. So what I've also done is I've added this ADX VMA indicator here. As you can see, it's gray and blue when the indicator's rising, and back here the ADX VMA is falling. When it's falling, it's red. And I have filtered these bounce trades to correlate with this ADX VMA. So if the ADX VMA is blue, telling you that, you know, it looks like, you know, price is moving up, you won't see any short bounces when the ADX VMA is blue. And vice versa, if the ADX VMA is red, you won't see any long bounces here. Let's see, it doesn't look like price came down close enough for a long bounce anyways, but in any case, if the ADX VMA is red, it's going to filter out any long bounces there. And if the ADX VMA is gray, which, you know, that indicator is hinting that the market is kind of oscillating, it's in a range bound situation, then both, you know, a long bounce or a short bounce can appear when the ADX VMA is gray in this kind of range bound kind of mode here. So yeah, so there you go. There's kind of, you know, some bounce examples there that you know, we've built into Bloodhound, just to give you some examples of, you know, some of the things that you can do in Bloodhound. I'll open up Bloodhound here real quick, and we can take a look at the logic here. You know, and of course you can take this logic and maybe incorporate, you know, your own stuff into it. You know, if you're already a Bloodhound owner, if you want to get, or, you know, if you're interested in Bloodhound and helping you augment your trading there. All right, here's some Bloodhound systems already kind of set up as examples, you know, for you to start off with. So, all right, let's switch over to the next one here. So here's some support resistance breakout examples. So this logic template attempts to identify potential breakouts here, right? So price comes down, it breaks through, and then this template was set up, and I'm just going to confirm here, this template was set up to wait for, yeah, price needs to move 1 ATR. So price must move 1 ATR past the support resistance line for the breakout to be confirmed as a breakout. And, you know, with Bloodhound, you can adjust all of these settings here. You know, I've just randomly picked 1 ATR as just as an example to start off with. You know, but with Bloodhound, you can go in here and grab the solver that controls that. Just which is this example here, and you can see it's set up with 1 ATR. And if you need price, to break past the support resistance a little more than 1 ATR, then you can go in and make that adjustment and adjust this system as you see fit, for whatever your comfort level is there. So, yeah, so there you go, a couple of breakouts, and then price finally does break down and through. So, and there we go. There's a little example of price breaking out along there for a little short run. And there we go, a couple more long breakouts, right? And then we can see price crosses our 0 support resistance line there, and then crosses back down for a short breakout, like so. All right, so there's a couple of examples of using this indicator within Bloodhound. All right, a support resistance bounce or support resistance breakout. And then I have another logic template here that's just the solvers. And actually, let me go to the Bloodhound here. And if I just put it on the solvers, basically it's just a raw template here that just has the 2 solvers built, and then you can just, put your own design, your own system into it, or you can just select one of these and see the settings and then create this same solver in your own in your existing Bloodhound system that you might already have if you're a Bloodhound owner, right? So all right, I think yeah, that about wraps it up for the Bloodhound demo there, guys. So I guess now we'll take a look at the questions here.
All right, while we're reviewing the questions, I'm going to put a link in the chat window there, for those of you that like to do info deep dives, because we're getting some very specific questions about, in particular, the indicator warehouse indicator. So I'm going to put a link in here. See if this works. Yes. It's a link out to a playlist on our YouTube channel, and it covers the support and resistance tool and the trade forecaster in more detail. And so you're welcome to go check that out. And if that leads to more questions, happy to take them. You can contact me. Let's see here. So I know we're over on time, and so I know there was a lot of requests for charts. It's up to you guys. What do you want to do?
Yeah, we can stay as long as necessary to get people's answers. And yeah, I can pull up charts there. So Adam, if you're seeing chart requests, I can pull them right up.
All right, so folks, are you looking for charts on Zach's side of it? So with the Bloodhound tools engaged, or were you looking just for charts specific to either trade forecaster or support and resistance proper? That'll be helpful to know.
Yeah, just kind of one limitation. I only have my instrument set up for these 2 indicators for the YM right now, right? So I guess, yeah, let me just kind of show this to you guys. Let me show you a requirement. So this is a requirement that kind of comes from the way NinjaTrader is designed and it's programmed. So when you're using these 2 indicators in Bloodhound, in order to get these 2 indicators to function correctly inside of Bloodhound, NinjaTrader requires a couple of settings here, and let me kind of show you here. So let me go pull up the YM. So on the YM, what you want to do is go into your instrument manager, find the instrument that you want to use, the indicator warehouse indicators inside of Bloodhound. And I think this is really probably only unique to these indicators. This rarely is needed, but you want to go into your instrument that you want to use, you go click the edit, and you need to set the session template here to default 24/5. Right now, Indicator Warehouse provides instructions on doing this here, but I'll just show you guys real quickly ahead of time. And currently, right now, I only have my YM set to default 24/5, so I can't switch to other instruments. All right, but I can pull up any kind of bar type that you want. So, all right, so let's see if we can. See if I can.
I was just looking to see if I could find some prior videos on our channel of the tools working with Forex. So the short of it is the answer is yes. If any instrument that NinjaTrader can load on a chart, our indicators work. It's really quite that simple. Which means if you're a NinjaTrader user, you know that means equities, Forex, futures, but not options. Right? That's the limitation in NinjaTrader. So I'm trying to remember who asked. Gene. Is it Gene? I think so. I'm sorry I don't have anything I can show you immediately on Forex. And so, Zach, you don't have that on your data feed, right?
Sorry, no, I don't have a Forex data feed. But yeah, the general rule of thumb is, guys, data is data. It doesn't matter what the instrument is. All the instruments is a open, high, and low close price. Doesn't matter if it's Forex, futures, stocks, options. It's all open, high, and low close prices that generate a bar. So data is data. It's just numbers to NinjaTrader. So these will work on any instrument.
Well, you said it better than me.
If you like, I can do a few screenshots. I don't have the Bloodhound activated, but I can certainly give a quick overview of some of the markets.
Yeah, let's do it. There was a combination of requests with and without Bloodhound, so at least we can show the tools. We can get as close to your question as possible. How's that?
Yeah. All right. Somebody was requesting Forex chart. Somebody requested a 5-range chart. Here's a 5 range on the British pound, and I'll scroll back here to where we have the open, the London Open, and you can see we had a nice little break here of the primary support. Quickly fell 2 zones, ranged sideways between the 2 support levels on a 5 range, and then ended up falling 2 more zones. So remember that 2-zone rule I mentioned to you, great for trying to forecast where the market might be going to next. I know somebody was asking for crude oil. Let me roll here to crude oil. I'll go back just to a regular time-based chart. Yeah, okay, hold on a sec here. While we're loading the data. But you can see it will work on any chart style. We can make this a tick chart, everything but daily. This is an intraday. Both these tools are intraday tools. All right, so here's crude oil today. I should maybe go to a 5-minute chart. It will show a little bit more detail, but you can see a very, very strong move lower through the pre-market. Opened around here, 6 a.m. Pacific, that's my time. Took a little bounce off of the primary support. Actually never got down to the second zone. That's a little unusual. We saw this very strong reaction here, and the market did give us one more chance to short. Did close below here, so if you were a little bit more aggressive on your stops, you might have been able to pick up a little bit of this decline through here. But generally speaking, once it honors a support level several times, it's very likely to start drifting the other direction, and that's exactly what we saw happen here in crude oil today. To the upside, once that support was confirmed, it did end up moving the 2 full zones before the close, but a very sideways, very quiet day for crude oil overall, probably because we've got inventory tomorrow. Here's the euro. I'm not sure if I showed you the euro yet. Here's the euro on a 15-minute. Very bearish day on the euro. You can see we broke the primary support. Didn't get a very deep retest, but a blatant sell signal on the break of support right here. And again, the market trying to drift 2 full zones. Now, this is through the North American session, of course. For a market like the euro, you're going to want to pay a little bit more attention to its native time zone, namely the London Open. And you can see that it spent quite a bit of time bouncing here between the primary support and the median line before finally committing on a breakout. See how it broke through, committed to honoring that support zone, and then from there actually took a long time before finally heading down its 2 full zones. Gold, I believe somebody asked for gold as well, so give me a moment, I'll pull up the gold chart. We'll see what's going on with gold today. Ooh, very strong move here in gold. So we broke through the primary resistance. You can see it did not hold. Remember, when we see a breakout through resistance, we're looking for the resistance now to act as support. We didn't get that. It did drift down here to the median line eventually after bouncing off the primary resistance a few times, broke the median, and then it honored it as resistance. So that was our first clue that the market was probably going to be heading lower. We're making lower swing highs as well, lower swing lows, but it breaks through the median line, cannot get back through the upside. That's a pretty clear indication the market's going to try to move lower from here, breaks the primary support in a big way, and just goes screaming 2 zones lower. So a very bearish day in gold today. Some nice opportunities there. A couple people trying to figure out how we calculated these levels. No, folks, these are not Murray math levels. These are Eric math levels. There's a lot of math going on behind the scenes here. They're not floor pivots. They're not Fibonacci retracements. They actually look back in the history of the chart and analyze over the last 2 weeks where the market has been finding particular price sensitivities. And it forecasts those price levels as being influential price levels for today's trading. It is a forecasting tool, so you need to keep that in mind. You know, if you see the price fudge a line a little bit, you got to take that into consideration, because we're trying actually to predict where the market is going to react. And you can see very often it will hit it right on the number or within a couple of ticks. So it's an amazing tool that way. It's amazing how much the market actually respects support and resistance areas. I'm going to just scroll back through here, see if I can find, there were a few more chart requests. Somebody's asking for the E-mini. I use the E-mini a lot in today's presentation just because it was hitting it bang on the number. You can see a very clear breakout of the primary support area, a very clear retest giving us a selling opportunity, and then the market falls 2 zones. Comes back with a buy signal. Did we rally into the close? No, not quite enough to get to our secondary target, but you can see we were definitely on the right side of this trade once we broke the support, which should have acted as resistance. I suppose in a way it did. It did give us a quick move lower, only to find support again. There's a clear buy signal, and our ultimate target was 23.65.5. The market kind of ran out of steam going into the close, but don't be surprised if we drift up toward there before the London Open. A few more people asking for Forex markets. I don't have a good assortment of the Forex. I do have the Forex, well, the futures version of the Forex, so I can show you the Aussie dollar against the American dollar. A little bit of a sideways day here for the Aussie dollar. Let's go back again to what would have been the native session for the Aussie dollar. Saw a bounce here off of the primary resistance, a break of the median line. Market tries to get back through. It can't. So there's an indication that we're going to see the market try to move 2 zones, which it did. Fell down there. Break up through the primary support now. now acting as support for the market. So we would anticipate, again, a move 2 zones higher, which it did. And looks like right now for the rest of the session, the Aussie dollar just kind of pinched between the primary support and the primary resistance. I can show you the yen versus the US dollar. And once again, let me go back to what would be Japan time. The market opening, taking a little bit of a bounce off of the median line, moved down here to the primary support, again, after testing the median line. So pretty clear indication that the market was going to honor the median line as resistance, broke the support, and boom, 1, 2 zones down. So a very good trade, and you can see this one hit it right on the number as well, so you could have totally maximized your profitability on that trade. And then from here, what do we get? The market breaks. Should have honored this as resistance. It did not. Broke through again. Now we see support and 1, 2 zones up. So just a great forecasting tool, giving you a very clear indication of when it's time to enter, where the market is likely to go next. You know, you couple that with the trade forecaster. Somebody was asking about, can you show what happens when the market goes sideways? Well, when the market is moving sideways, it's very likely going to be in scalp mode. And that tells you as a trader, you should be considering that the market's probably going to make deeper moves, deeper pullbacks. Therefore, you're probably going to have to run a wider stop. It might be advisable to go all in, all out on target, because we're not going to see a lot of follow through on the trades. These types of moves here, I can almost guarantee you the market was either in swing mode or in trending mode when these types of moves develop. Even these moves here, even though it's not as fast, you can see the pullbacks minimal, right? Not very deep pullbacks, a couple ticks moving against the market, and then we finally see some follow through. So those are the types of things that you can anticipate in trend mode. It's not to say you're not going to get a pullback, but it's going to be minimal. You're likely to see more follow through. And then when the market is still very likely in trend mode through here, not as big a move, but again, the pullback's a little bit lighter. You could have gone in perhaps with a tighter stop, maybe using more contracts, you know, try to add a little bit more punch to your position. And let's see here if I'm missing anybody's request. I think that was pretty much most of, the UB I don't have, but how about, I think somebody was asking for the bonds, the 30-year bond. And here's a 5-minute on a 30-year bond. Let's condense that a bit to a 15-minute. This through the overnight, just pre-market, you can see we took a bounce off of the median line, came back down here, honored the primary support, and quick move up to the primary resistance area, broke through the secondary resistance zone. So that's telling us the market's a little bit more bullish. Didn't get a very deep retrace, but again, you can anticipate a 2-zone move on a breakout of the primary resistance or the primary support lines. And currently we're in trend mode, but that's ending in about the next 5 minutes. But that, of course, that's because it's after hours now. And then we'll be moving into full-on scalp mode, which is to be anticipated. Again, because the market's after hours, we're probably not going to see a whole lot of follow-through. Kay is asking, so the forecaster isn't time sensitive. I'm asking because I'm from another time zone. It does not back test the trade forecaster. It only shows you the current market condition and what the next market condition is likely to be. So right now, in the 30-year bond, the trend environment is about to end, and then we're going to be moving into a scalp zone. Whatever your time zone is, it will display relative to your time zone, because what you're doing with the trade forecaster is you're going to set your open time relative to your computer. So for me, the markets, North American markets open 6:30 Pacific, and once you set that, the trade forecaster knows how to calculate the market condition. And Frank's asking for the NASDAQ. Let's get the NASDAQ up here. And I think somebody was actually asking for natural gas as well, so we can take a look at that. So pre-market, pretty busy. The North American Open right about here, we had already broken the primary support. Very strong breakout, a little bit of a retest. Again, we fudged it a little bit, but you need to remember these lines are predictive. We're expecting a reaction. What kind of reaction does the market show us when it gets to these lines? Well, it's showing us a pretty bearish reaction, which is what we anticipate, right? When the market is below the primary support, we expect the support lines now to act as resistance, which is exactly what happened. Gave us a nice selling opportunity, and it actually went deeper. It went 3 zones deep before we finally saw the market react, give us some support, broke the support line here. So you could have actually started buying off of this bar here. You got a retest here, however, and that was a better indication that now it's time to buy, and the market moves 2 zones higher going into the close. And we'll just finish up with natural gas. So you can see it's a universal tool. It really does work in any chart, in any time frame. Here natural gas full on now into scalp mode. Again, that's to be anticipated because it's after hours. You can see prices just drifting sideways. A very, very strong move after a rejection of the resistance. So we broke resistance. We should have seen some support here. Didn't happen. Market breaks the primary resistance, settles down here on the median line. Very, very strong break of the primary support. Again, this is a 15-minute chart. If I went down to a 5-minute chart, it would show us a little bit more detail here. But just look at this, 1, 2, 3, almost 4 zones on the way down. So a very, very bearish day for natural gas traders today.
Eric, Mark would like to see a gold 5-minute chart with the support resistance and the trade forecaster.
Okay, well the trade forecaster is only going to show us what's forecast right now. So right now it says we're in trend mode for about another half an hour, after which we're moving into swing mode. And this is how gold unfolded in the North American session. So we opened here with a breach of the primary resistance, came down, bounced off the primary support, breached the resistance again. So they took a long time making up their mind this morning. We're pretty much sandwiched between these 3 or 4 lines right through here. Finally saw a break and a retest here of the median line, and that was our first clue which way the market was going to go today. Reinforced that decision right here when it bounced off 1203.4 for a second time, and then just unwound. Broke the primary support, and boom, 1, 2 zones deep, and that's where they kind of finished the day. So we are in trend mode. Again, that means that we can anticipate a little bit more follow through, but maybe more importantly, we're not going to see really deep pullbacks. You know, compare the pullbacks that we're seeing here with perhaps some of the pullbacks developed earlier in the day, where the market conditions were probably a little bit different.
All right, just looking through here to find another question.
I see Gibson's asking for a 1-minute chart. You 1-minute guys, oh my gosh. You're probably, I can't make decisions that fast on a 1-minute chart, but here you go. Here's a 1-minute chart for gold. Again, you got a little bit more detail here. When we broke the primary support, you can see it bounced 1, 2, 3, well, half a dozen, almost a dozen times before the market finally folded in on itself.
See, maybe Adam can answer this one. Lewis is asking, does the trade manager come with this?
So the answer is no, that's a different product completely. So definitely outside the scope of this presentation. So the only indicator warehouse tools that are relevant for today's presentation is the trade forecaster and the ultimate support and resistance lines. Oh, I'm sorry, and the Omni timer bar counter. That's our bonus.
Let's see, Kai has a question for me for Shark Indicators. Which solver is used for making use of the trade forecaster, and how is it set up? So Kai, I use the threshold solver with the trade forecaster, and I guess just to give you a technical answer, the trade forecaster outputs a value of 0, 1, and 2 in a data series. So that's why you would use the threshold solver. So I believe the output value of 0 is for scalping, an output value of 1 is for swing mode, and an output value of 2 is trend mode. All right, so I set up 3 different threshold solvers, each looking for those values 0, 1, and 2. All right, let's see. Looking for another question here.
Eric, there was the green line on the support and resistance screen earlier. Can you just explain what that was?
Sure. The green lines above here, these are secondary resistance. So if you're in the green lines, the market's going to tend to be more bullish or have a more bullish bias. Today, the markets were down pretty much overall. So when the markets are in the pinkish lines, it's going to have a more bearish bias. The 3 lines in the middle here, the gold and the 2 blue lines above and below, this is the median line, primary resistance, and primary support. These kind of set the tone for the day. So when the market breaks out of this range, it's going to tend to have a more bullish or bearish bias, depending which way it's going.
You know, while you're on the chart, there's about 3 requests to look at crude. So I guess we just jump over there.
Yeah, here's crude oil right now. Oops, sorry, wrong button. Here's crude oil. And crude oil opening 6 a.m. Pacific. So right out of the gate, we took a bounce off of the primary resistance line, primary support line. Went down 1 zone, but not 2. Only got down a little more than 1 zone. This is unusual. Normally, we would anticipate the market to move 2 full zones. Saw a reaction, another rejection here at the primary support line. So again, thinking the market should resume the downtrend, which it did, but it failed to get back through this secondary support zone. It did close below it right here. So depending how aggressive you were with your stops, you may have been able to capture most of that profit, but when it started bouncing and failing, that's an indication that the market's likely to move the other way, which it ended up doing. It ended up breaking through, gave us a little bit of a retest, and then ended up going 2 full zones higher, which is where we're at right now. So, you know, if you're paying attention, the support and resistance lines tell you where you need to be looking to anticipate price giving you some sort of reaction. Randy's asking, how do we know when the trend is bullish or bearish? Well, you can, the simplest way, Randy, is just to study the price swings. So once price gets below the primary support zone, you should be thinking bearish. Once you see the retest and the failure, namely that the market cannot get above the primary support zone, you should be thinking bear market. I'm looking for selling opportunities. The market bounced up here again, you should be looking for selling opportunities. And again, once we closed down here, depending how aggressive you were with your stops, You may have been able to capture most of this. In all honesty, I probably would have rolled my stops. My when I shorted from here, my stops would have been above here. And then when I saw the market keep rejecting the lows here, I probably would have brought my stops in at least to here, and then I probably would have been stopped out somewhere around there. So I didn't get to my intended profit objective, which was down here, the second zone, but I still walked away with some sort of profit, right? It wasn't a total loss. Now I'm watching the market to see what kind of clues I'm getting. We're back here at the resistance area. Now we broke through. Here's the retest, right? There's the breakout, there's the retest. Now I'm getting more bullish. And then we got the big bull move up with my profit objective being 2 zones higher, or the primary resistance. And you can see we're just shy of that. So if I were in this trade right now, my initial stop would have been right here. And at the very least, my stop would be below the median line, and I would have a profit-taking order up here as well.
Hey, Eric?
Yes, sir?
While I answer this other question, can you bring up a 30-minute chart real quick?
For crude oil?
I don't think it matters. No, actually, do you have the bonds? You have ZB?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So that'd be great. So listen, I'm going to answer, let me see who asked it again. Hold on. Yeah, I'm going to answer Randy's question about how do you know if it's bullish or bearish a little differently, only because, look, clearly Eric is a skilled discretionary trader, and that's, you know, on the indicator warehouse side of things, that's where we spend most of our time. However, we intentionally did not bring trading tools to today's presentation that had buy and sell signals associated with them. That was intentional, because the premise was that these tools would enhance whatever buy-sell system you're currently using or building with Bloodhound. So I just want to make that clear. You know, if people are looking for some arrows, they're not going to see it associated with these tools. And again, that's intentionally. These tools are designed to help you get a sense of where a price is going to change direction, or the market conditions that are prevalent, so that you can, you know, design your system to look for shorter moves, midterm moves, or longer moves.
All right. I found a couple of quick questions here I can answer. Again, Trevor is asking, where can we watch the webinar recording? So just so everybody so everybody's on the same page, we will email the link out to watch this recording later on. Right, so that'll just get emailed out to everybody. And let's see. Bob is asking, so for anybody that owns everything, and so I know Bob is one of those guys that owns everything, where can he just get the Bloodhound templates only? So Bob, that for anybody that owns all the software here that you've seen, on that link that was giving out, the item at the bottom of the page is the Bloodhound templates only. Right, so you can use the link at the bottom of the page to get just the Bloodhound templates only. All right. All right, that's all I have right now.
So some people have been asking for just the support and resistance tool by itself. Didn't, you know, we could have put every permutation possible on that landing page, and I just didn't want to make it any more cluttered than it is. But I put a link in there. If you're just looking for the support and resistance standalone, then the link in there will get you to the product page. As I said to someone else earlier, the price incentives are associated with bundling the software, so it's going to be more cost-effective if you bundle it with something else. However, you know, if all you need is that one tool, then that's how you would get to it.
Eric, got a somewhat of a technical question from it's Kay or Kai. How are the market conditions measured via the trade forecaster? Are they historical volatility?
It's actually a combination of things. If you remember what my weatherman analogy, the weatherman looks at humidity, barometric pressure, wind speed, cloud formation, temperature, and says, okay, last time these conditions were present, this is what the weather was. Well, the trade forecaster works in a similar way. It looks back over a month long of trading and it says, okay, the last time the market conditions were like this is what happened. We had a scalping environment, or we had a trending environment, or swing trading environment. Now, it will forecast on every price time frame or bar style, but the smaller your time frame, the more often it's going to change up on you, right? So when you're asking it to forecast on a 30-minute chart, it may give you a slightly different interpretation than if you're looking at a 1-minute chart. So it does look back into the history of the entire chart, the last 30 days of trading, and it says, okay, when these conditions were here, and that includes historical volatility and momentum and a whole slew of other things, when those conditions were such and such, this is what the market did. And it uses that to predict what the current market condition is, as well as what the next one is likely to be. But
So I'm going to answer
several.
I'm sorry. I'm going to answer the question a little differently, Kai, because I've been fielding a few of these from you now, and I understand this. We get. I put all these questions under the category of what's under the hood, and so I just want to remind you that the way our model works in Indicator Warehouse is we sell independent programmers software on their behalf. So we really have two sets of customers. I have internal customers, which are private independent programmers who come to us and say, would you be willing to put this into your inventory? And then I have external customers, which are people like on the call today, who come to this online resource to find innovative trading tools and deal with us instead of curmudgeon-y programmers. So no offense, Zach. But one of the requirements I have in my contracts with these independent programmers is protecting their intellectual property. And so when we receive the product, it's already compiled. And so I don't know what the source code is. And I know that there's a group of people out there that want to know the formulas, the innards, if you will, of what these trading tools are about. And I'm just sorry, I can't do that. So if that's critical for you, then we're just not a match. Also, it doesn't matter. There's business policies on our site. You're welcome to review them. Most of our policies are standard, like most vendors. So but if you want to get into particulars, you're welcome to contact me privately. And again, let me just put my information in here in case anyone was a late straggler. That's my email address, and happy to talk with you. And if you want to talk on the phone, we can schedule a call. It's not a problem. All right, great questions. Anything else?
Let's see, I'm not really seeing any real questions. It looks like a lot of this stuff is just a bunch of comments left in the room. I'm trying to see if I can find a different type of question we haven't answered yet.
All right, so in the meantime, I'm going to put up the page to the landing page that has the different bundles one more time, just so they're available to you. And if for some reason we didn't get to a question, because there were a lot, so I apologize if we missed one, you're welcome to contact me. Obviously, you contact the folks at Bloodhound if it's more Bloodhound specific. We'll be happy to talk.
Let me just address one question before we go, because I've seen this one come up before, but somebody's asking, will your levels forecast beyond current price range, like when we get to new all-time highs and lows? Yes, and the way it does that is, again, by studying what price has been doing in the past, and it will actually predict where the market should find support or resistance levels, even though there's no historical levels to draw from. The programming can actually forecast where the support and resistance should occur based on previous price action and how the market has responded.
Let's see. Gene's got a question for me. Gene's asking, for the Bloodhound templates, and this would be directed toward the ultimate support resistance indicator, is there a breakout and retest template? Yeah, for the ultimate SNR. No, Gene, sorry, I didn't get that sophisticated with it. You know, those Bloodhound templates are really just some kind of examples that you can do with stuff. They're not intended to be full-fledged, you know, trading signals ready to go. Just some examples, you know, they might help a discretionary trader, things like that. So, yeah, so for the ultimate support resistance, I was able to put together a breakout or a bounce type of test. All right. Let's see if there's any other unique questions in here.
Yeah, I see a fair amount on just, you know, was this recorded? And yes, that'll go back out.
Oh, let's see here. Bruce, looks like Bruce has been answered here. Bruce is asking, sounds like you're selling black boxes. And I take it Bruce is referring to the Bloodhound black box. And so Bruce, no, those Bloodhound templates are open. I know they're there just to, you know, to help you, you know, to help the Bloodhound user use these indicators, you know, within Bloodhound. So those Bloodhound templates are open. They are not black boxed.
Okay, so we just got a question on what kind of support comes with the indicator warehouse tools. So just real quick, these are standard policies, and I put the link in there so you can see, you know, anything that's policy related is on that page, and you know, I do recommend you review them thoroughly because it's all about being an informed consumer. But all of our software, you get upgrades, updates for life. Support via email is free for life, and I think those are the biggies. I think there's Zach, there's one more about like help with Bloodhound, you know, creating Bloodhound.
Let's see here. Let me try and find it. Can you tell me who?
Yeah, it says if we needed help building a break and retest solver, is someone available?
Yes. So at Shark Indicators, we provide unlimited email support, even for you know, even for trial users. Again, you know, we do have those Bloodhound templates there for you as well that have all the solvers built in them, so you can see how things are set up and everything. And yeah, if you have additional questions, yeah, you're always welcome to email us at, you know, support@sharkindicators.com, and our guys will, you know, help you get the solver put together. You know, work in the way that you're looking for there. So.
All right. I think I just earned myself a big glass of water. So again, thank you for staying on this long. I'm always impressed when an audience this big stays on this long. I guess that's a good sign. If you have any other questions, feel free to contact me at adam@indicatorwarehouse.com. I really, again, want to thank Jeremy and Zach and the whole team at Shark Indicators. It's been a pleasure putting this presentation together and having such an engaging audience that always makes it more fun. And you know, look forward to working with you all again.
Oh yeah, and of course the last question: how long is the special pricing good for?
Oh, that is a great question. For me, well, I guess we didn't discuss this, Zach. For me, it's indefinite. I mean, this is not like a, you know, the incentive comes financially. It's because of the bundles where you get an incentive. There's no get this today or else. We don't operate like that. So
All right,
I have,
there you go.
I have no problem keeping this landing page active, and you're welcome to reference it whenever you want.
All right, great.
I think we're good.
Well, yeah, I think so. I don't really see any new type of questions in there that we haven't already answered. So, yeah. All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen. Thanks to Indicator Warehouse for partnering with us, and we thank everybody out there for joining our webinar. And again, we will email out the recording link to everybody. If you have any questions, if you have Bloodhound related questions, you can always email us at support@sharkindicators.com. If you have sales related questions, you can go to our homepage and there's a phone number for sales related questions. And for Adam, I'm assuming that your support email would also be support@indicatorwarehouse.com.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. That's a little quick intro, just so you know. The way it works, because I have questions about installation all the time, and I saw a few pop up. The way it works with us is once you complete your online transaction, almost instantaneously, a lot of this is now automated, you'll get download instructions. And as part of those download instructions, you'll get access to the private membership site, and you'll also have instructions on how to install the indicator onto your machine. So we have an optional service that will install it for you, but for the indicators we're talking about today, if you're familiar with NinjaTrader, I don't see you needing that service.
All right. Well, with that, it looks like just about everybody's left. So,
all
right,
terrific. All right, folks. Thanks so much.
Yep. Have a good rest of your week, guys. All right.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
bye.